Auto theft cases in general are difficult to investigate. Nationally, out of every 10 cars stolen, usually only one is recovered and the criminal caught. Firefighters with the Hamilton County Rescue Task Force only do this kind of training a couple of times a year. I also just talked with a neighbor across the street who says she was actually woken up by two pops, the sound of two pops. Families from 10 units will have to find somewhere else to stay tonight. The apartment complex is working with them to help them do that. No word on a cause at this point, but again, the important thing, no reported injuries. Live from the northwest side tonight, Dustin Grove, 24-hour News 8. We're not only talking about sugary drinks, but fried foods, too. More than 100 hospitals across the country are considering removing these items, including right here next month. This is some of the heaviest damage we've found. A roof actually blown off of that business. In fact, part of the roof landing just a few feet away from these people's bedroom window, and you can also see just the debris that's strewn all about this front yard, as well as yards all over Dowagiac. Pieces of tree, pieces of roofing, pieces of power lines. And take a look at this. Look at this cinder block. This is actually from that building over there, about 50 or 60 feet away. This is how strong the wind was last night, that it picked up these cinder blocks and blew them all the way over to the highway. Again, lots of other damage across town. We want to go to some video right now of another home that was damaged.
I can see that wind is really kicking that snow up, Dustin.
Yeah, Lori, this wind is ferocious. It's causing drifting problems on roads throughout the county. If there aren't drifts on these roads, then they are a sheet of ice. State Road 32 is impassable, according to police, both east and west of Lebanon, so they're working on closing that. You know, we're at a truck stop near Whitestown, just off of I-65. There are hundreds of trucks that have decided to park it for the night, and police say that is a very good idea for everybody. Oh, man. That was scary. For drivers, I-65 north of Indianapolis Sunday was, in a word,
hairy. You know, a little nervous, white knuckle driving, but.
We're doing like 20 miles per hour since Franklin, Indiana.
Adon Marchand and his family were trying to make it home to Chicago. What are you thinking as you're driving down the road?
I'm just nervous and I just want to get home. I hope I can get home like safely.
Heavy snow and strong winds were making that increasingly difficult. In Boone County, conditions got so bad some roads were closed. These semis that had stopped for gas couldn't even make it back to the interstate.
Folks need to stay home.
It's why Boone County officials declared a travel warning, telling people to stay off the roads, to give plows room to work, along with emergency responders and the Indiana National Guard, too.
We're getting our team ready.
Sergeant Paul Sharp is among nearly 200 soldiers who make up highway assistance teams to help rescue stranded drivers and take them to shelters. We were with them as they got their first assignment Sunday afternoon.
Been assigned a mission to go north towards Lowell and Gary.
A hot spot for slide-offs and right where the Marchand family was headed.
If it takes me like 5-6 hours to get home, I mean, I'm okay. I just don't want to get stuck in the middle of the road.
And we don't know how far they made it north. Just after we spoke with them in Lebanon earlier this evening, the state decided to close I-65 from Lafayette to Gary because conditions were so bad. Live in Boone County, Dustin Grove, 24-hour News 8.
We had just paid it off. It's a 2008.
Today, Kim Bartholomew is thankful the Saturn SUV she has paid off is back in her garage. For weeks, she never thought she'd see it again.
It was very scary. It still is scary.
Thieves prowling her Greenwood neighborhood climbed into her husband's unlocked truck, grabbed a spare key to her car.
My valet key was in his console.
And took off. 3 weeks later, an undercover officer told her he'd found it. He bought it on the street for just $900.
Thanks for coming out this morning.
Wednesday morning, prosecutors announced charges against 5 men for stealing 7 cars from across the area. There was Kim's car, plus another one stolen in a carjacking in Indianapolis, from a car rental agency and a car dealership in Plainfield. Authorities say the men then sold them.
And for literally almost pennies on the dollar.
Police wouldn't tell us what led them to these guys because it's an ongoing investigation, but they call it a big deal. Auto theft cases in general are difficult to investigate. Nationally, out of every 10 cars stolen, usually only one is recovered and the criminal caught. In this case,
this was in fact a collaborative effort.
Successful teamwork between 3 police agencies and the National Insurance Crime Bureau. Police say in many of these cases, the victims left their cars unattended and running, or in Kim's case, left a vehicle unlocked. and a key inside.
Check the locks on your cars. I know sometimes it's easy to forget, especially when you think you live in a safe neighborhood, but I guess in this economy, anything goes.
Tonight, 4 of the 5 suspects in this undercover sting are in custody. This man is not. 26-year-old Jamison Scott. If you've seen him, call Crime Stoppers at 262-TIPS. Now, we did some digging today to find out just how big of an issue auto theft is here, and we found out the numbers are actually down. Down so far this year about 4%, but authorities say if more people just double check to make sure your car doors are locked, your valuables are not inside in view, those numbers will go down even further. Live on the near north side tonight, Dustin Grove, 24-hour News 8. Yeah, Debbie, a win isn't just great for fans, it's also big business here in Indiana. In fact, we learned in some cases it's actually putting people to work.
Out high, Oladipo!
Hoosier hysteria starts here, but it's made here, and this season,
we're extremely busy. We've been very busy with anything striped this year.
lots of it. While fans bleed cream and crimson, Taylor Imprinted Sportswear, just a few miles from campus, prints it. They shipped $250,000 in merchandise just last month.
Usually this is our slow time, and we're really doing a lot of cleaning and polishing and preparing for the next fall season.
But now, as the Hoosiers march further down the road to victory,
we actually put on an extra shift in order to get out IU products.
Dozens of employees to make products that haven't gone this fast in years. University officials say royalties for IU merchandise are up more than 30% this year so far, and that doesn't include tournament sales.
Chase got a sweatshirt.
March Madness drove the Smith family to campus Tuesday.
Definitely had to come back and get some apparel as we get excited for the tourney this weekend. It's fun. You know, we were down in the dumps for a while, and it's kind of good to rise from the ashes, as the book says, so it's good.
Sweet 16 bound. Fans hope the Hoosiers are ready. They sure are here.
Really happy to see that Crean has turned the program around.
The company says they will have workers standing by. Once a Hoosier win happens, those people will come in, they'll start printing off shirts and shipping them. They say they can do up to several thousand an hour. Live downtown tonight, Dustin Grove, 24-hour News 8.